We've got a great one on Monday Night Football when the New Orleans Saints travel to Seattle to face the Seahawks. Seattle a 4.5-point favorite on BETDAQ. 47.5 is the total in this game. These are the two best teams in the NFC. Seattle at 10-1, New Orleans right behind at 9-2. So this game could decide home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. And that's especially important because both these teams so good at home. I've been saying for a few weeks now that I believe the NFC's Super Bowl representative is going to be whichever of these two teams can lock up that home field advantage. Just don't see either one of these teams going on the road and beating the other in the postseason. Be interesting to see if the Saints can pull out a road win here. Might surprise you to know that since 2006, the Saints are 24-13 on the road. That is the best record in the NFL in that span. We all know how good they are at home. Not sure many people realize they have the best road record in the league over the last 7 years. But the Seahawks just so good at home. Russell Wilson, their starting quarterback, a perfect 13-0 at home. He's thrown 26 touchdowns and only 6 interceptions in those games. But I don't think Wilson is going to be the main focus tonight. That is going to be Marshawn Lynch, Seattle running back. The Seahawks are going to try to pound the ball right at the Saints. That's because the Saints' Achilles heel is run defense. Now, overall, the Saints have been great defensively this year. They're 4th in the NFL in points allowed, and they've only given up 400 total yards once all season. But they're not particularly good against the run, 22nd in the NFL in rushing defense, and they really struggle on the road. They're allowing nearly 150 rush yards per game on the road. You look at their last loss a few weeks ago to the New York Jets. The Jets ran the ball right at them. Chris Ivory, the former Saint, totaling 173 rushing yards in that game. And the Jets are really a poor man's Seattle Seahawks. They play the same style of football as Seattle. They try to win with defense and the power running game. They're just not nearly as good at it. So if you're a Seahawks fan, you have to feel pretty good about the matchup of Marshawn Lynch and that Seattle running game against this New Orleans rushing defense. But if you're a Saints fan, you're looking at Drew Brees and this New Orleans passing offense, which is second in the league, averaging nearly 320 pass yards per game. They'll be facing a shorthanded Seattle secondary. The Seahawks will be without two cornerbacks, starter Brandon Browner and his immediate replacement Walter Thurman. Both those guys suspended due to failed drug tests. Thurman will miss 4 games. Browner will be suspended for a year. So this will be the first game they play without those two guys. Not a good time to be without 2 key contributors in the secondary when you're facing this New Orleans Saints passing offense. Now, the weather is going to play a role in this game. Early in the week, they were expecting really nasty weather. Temperatures in the mid-20s, rain followed by snow, 15 to 20 mile-an-hour winds. But then a couple of days ago, the forecast lightened up. It looked like they were going to expect temperatures in the mid-40s, no precipitation and light winds. But now we're hearing it's moving back in the other direction. Latest weather forecast we've heard, temperatures in the low 30s, 60% chance of precipitation, 5 to 10 mile-an-hour winds. Obviously, the worse the weather gets, the more that favors the Seattle Seahawks. That's one of the primary reasons I believe Seattle has an excellent chance to win this game, and I do lean towards them as a 4.5-point favorite. Now, it's tough for me to bet against the Saints. First of all, I backed the Saints before the season to win the Super Bowl at 26-1, so I've been rooting for the Saints all year, and they're just so good offensively. They're so good on Monday Night Football. Drew Brees, 11-2 as a Saint on Monday nights. As we said, they've been playing well on both sides of the ball this year, 3rd in points scored, 4th in points allowed. But I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those nasty games where the more physical, tougher team comes out on top, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. As we said, the Saints struggle stopping the run. They're going to get a heavy dose of Marshawn Lynch in this game. Feel like Seattle might be able to push them around a little bit. And as I said, even though I hesitate to give 4.5 points to the New Orleans Saints because they're so good on offense, Drew Brees has been so good, really, since he's been in New Orleans, especially on Monday nights. I think this is a good spot for a Seattle play. I think the Seahawks are going to win here and cover the 4.5 points.